Hello everyone, Mocha Bear here. Welcome back to Mocha Bear's Hobby Den. Today we're going to talk about the Plagueburst Crawler for the Death Guard of Warhammer 40K. Shall we get started? So as you can tell by the title, we're specifically going to be talking about how you build it and how you can magnetize it, as I have done here. Now, of course, I do not have the little dozer plate attached to it due to convenience of painting. Once it's painted, I can just easily glue it on. I'd like to magnetize it, but I don't really need to because once it's on there, I don't need to take it off. Transporting should be no problem because it's only adds a little bit more to it. But we're going to talk about, there are some issues with the building. When I was putting this together, it took me about 3.5 hours total, but that's also because I magnetized, so I had to drill. When I was building it, some of the directions were off, which is why every time I do one of these videos and I talk about building for these, Warhammer, D&D, anything, dry fit everything. Because the tracks in the book for this side, for the left, were incorrect. In the book, it says that, okay, these numbers here go on the left side, these here go on the right, because you see it when you're looking in the book. So if you're looking at the book, you'll see it like this way, I think. And it tells you which side. Well, when I took those out, I cut out all for the one side, went to dry fit. I was like, some of these don't fit right. And then I tried them on the other side. I was like, oh, they fit right on that side. And when I looked again, some of them have little pegs that are used to help hold them in place to fit them before you glue them in. Especially that the main one here on the bottom. Let's see, yeah. So like this one right here on both sides has one. These back here stick, and then I think like a couple here on the front. A little peg to stick into the side, and there's little slits on the tank. If you try following the book, it's telling you they go there, the pegs aren't going to be there because they're going to be on the wrong side unless you turn it around and have the tracks going in the wrong direction, because you see all these little teeth right here? They are to catch. So they're supposed to be the claws are supposed to be going forward to dig and pull it forward. If I were to put those on the way the book was saying based on the numbers, the claws would be going backwards, which wouldn't work unless you're driving backwards the whole way, unless you're just retreating. So dry fit, I'm pretty sure it's highly unlikely that it was just in my book. It's very likely that they are all listed that way. So dry fit everything. And then getting this in there, the mortar took a few attempts because it's got these little peg inserts on the bottom that fit into the body, but then they also have this here to catch. And I was like, it took me a while to finesse it to finally find the right spot, lift it up, put the glue on them, and then sit it right back down. So it took a bit. And same with this, the mortar itself, these little pegs around it, how it sits in there, it sits like right there. But in the book, the picture shows it like it's supposed to be all the way in there, which it doesn't. It's not supposed to. So again, dry fit everything. Now, of course, the Plagueburst Crawler has some weapon options. So the main weapon options that are default for it, that says 2 entropy cannons, a heavy slugger, then the Plagueburst mortar, and armored tracks. So the tracks here, this is of course the mortar right here on the back. The entropy cannons are these here on the sides, and then the heavy slugger is this gun right here. However, you can swap those out. The entropy cannons can be replaced with 2 plague spitters, and the heavy slugger can be replaced with 1 rot hail volley gun. When it came to doing those, I was like, I want to magnetize so that way I can have options. I'm going to bring the overhead camera in so we can look at it better. So there we go. So the mortar, the entropy cannons, and the heavy. Again, I wanted to magnetize. Now these parts here, you can glue on, but what you should do if you're going to magnetize your weapons, you can build the tank up all the way except for the side cannons. Those are easy to just stick on once you're done. You want to swap these out because, as you can see, the entropy cannons I can take off because I magnetized them. Try to do this without, there we go. I used a 3mm magnet, and I have a 3mm drill bit, but it took me a while to drill it. There we go. That's the best we can get right now. But yeah, I drilled a 3mm magnet into there. I have a 3mm magnet, but or not magnet, 3mm drill bit, but I did not have a handle for it. So I took it, and I do recommend getting one with a handle, or a handle for one if you have a bit but no handle. Get one. You can make one out of electrical tape probably. I took mine and just did this a bit until it caught and I couldn't keep pushing. So I would just reverse it to dig a little bit of that out. And then I took pliers, grabbed needle nose pliers, held the bit and was able to hold it, thankfully, and was able to twist it enough back and forth just like this until it pushed through the part that was resisting. And then once it pushed, I grabbed it by my hand and just kept doing this, going back and forth till I drilled in deep enough for my 3mm magnet to go in. It's a 3x1. I believe it's actually the Army Painter 3x1mm magnet. It comes in a pack with 3mm and 5mm. So I did that on both sides. And then the plague spewers go right on. And for these weapons, obviously I didn't want to risk damaging them using a 3mm. I didn't feel like trying to twist it. Whoops. I didn't feel like trying to twist and ruin my hands using that bit the way I did. So I just used 1mm magnets and put them in the back of the weapons. So, I keep missing it. So that way they stick to the strong magnet inside here, and they're lightweight, so the 1mm would hold them up fine. And then plus, they have the little here on the bottom to push against. Sorry, I'm trying to do this all weirdly. To push against this part here. Do forgive me for the blurriness. There we go. So that way, you can see if I rotate it, it pushes against it. So you push down, it's not going to go anywhere. And for the little gun right here on the front, didn't need to magnetize it because it has a little peg you can see right there, and it's got the little hole there. However, the Rot Hail does not. It's 3 barrels. So what I did was I used 1mm magnets. I put 2 in the bottom 2 barrels on the back. And then what I did was, before I drilled, I took white paint, put it onto the spots, onto the bottom barrels, pushed them into place where they were going to go into the body. Then what I did was I drilled the holes, put the magnets in, and then I took more white paint, scrubbed out of there. I did a little pre-drill into the 2 spots there. And then I put paint on the magnets there, wiped that clean, and then did it again to see if the paint lined up. If the paint lined up, I was good. Luckily, the paint lined up perfectly. So I was able to drill it in. So now, put it in. And then both of these have that little, goodness, all backwards. That little peg right there to sit into this little indent right here. So for the magnets, holds that on, and then because it has a little peg, I didn't need to do a magnet for this one. I just need to line it up with the little hole there and just stick it in. So again, dry fit everything. Even if you dry fit 5 times before you glue, drill, any of that, dry fit everything to make sure that it fits. Because if I didn't, my tracks would be all screwed up. My drill bit, or the holes for the magnets would have been screwed up. And I probably would have screwed this up just to put a magnet in there when I wouldn't need to. It's the old rule of measure twice, cut once kind of situation. Always want to make sure that everything fits right before you do anything permanent. Like I said, it took me about 3.5 hours to build this whole thing, including the magnetization. but I could have done it quicker if I was not watching a movie. And of course, the bottom plate sits weird. It kind of, part of it goes under this right here, but then this is sitting flush against something here. So the sides have a little lip that this sits on, and then this has a lip inside that this has a flap that goes against it. So again, dry fit everything. But yeah, that's like I said, once it's all painted, I'll just glue this right on and I will be good to go. I've dry fitted it a few times on here, and thankfully it goes like that. Yeah, so I mean, I don't even have to, I could just leave it like that, but moving it around, it's eventually gonna pop off because the sides actually fit kind of snug to it, which is nice. But yeah, but yeah, that's the Plagueburst Crawler. Again, I used 1mm magnets and 3mm magnets. Dry fit everything, look through the instructions a few times, make sure they all line up. When I did the tracks, I cut out all of one side of the track. So the book said, okay, these tracks are gonna go there. I cut them all out, laid them in the order they're supposed to go. So I laid the tank down and then laid them from the front to back, saying, okay, this is where they're gonna go. And then when I went to dry fit them, I was like, these don't fit right. And then come to find out, also there was one that goes back here, and one that goes up here on the front. They were reversed in the book for me as well on one of them. I think on both of them actually, because the back has there's a little slot on around here, around the body of the tank. There's a piece that has a thick notch and a small notch. They were in the wrong order. So on one side, I put them in the wrong order. The other side, I caught it and fixed it. I was like, what is going on? So even though I dry fit a few of them multiple times, I still didn't catch one. So dry fit everything. The instructions are not always correct. Just putting the plague marines together. Some of them are saying, okay, this is the number for this head. But when you go and look, it's like, no, that's not the right head. They're not correct. To this day, they're still not correct. It's sad. And it's in multiple, because I had the Poxrot Vector box set and then a box of Plague Marines. Both booklets, the same booklet. They're incorrect. So always dry fit and check, double check, triple check, whatever, before you cut and glue anything. But yeah, that's my little input on building and magnetizing the Plagueburst Crawler. Make sure you look through the booklet, dry fit everything, line everything up in the order they're supposed to go, make sure they all fit right. But I'm gonna go and end it there. It was a quick little short video I wanted to do because I'm short on time. But I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you found it educational and helpful, especially if you have a Plagueburst Crawler and haven't built it yet. Look through the booklet, dry fit everything, make sure everything fits where it's supposed to go. But if you did, please give this video a like, hit that thumbs up button, hit the subscribe button if you haven't already subscribed to the channel, then hit the bell icon, set notifications to all, get notified when I upload videos and do live streams. Comment down below if you did or did not enjoy this episode, why or why not. I'd love to hear from you. And then please lastly, share this video, bring awareness to my channel, help me continue to grow. I'm gonna go ahead and end it there, so please as always take care of yourselves. And until next time, hobby on.